Hi there, and welcome to a special interview brought to you by Team Lakehouse Digital. And we're talking today about mangroves in Sri Lanka. Well, mangrove restoration, call it reforestation as well. To be very honest, it is very disappointing the rate that Sri Lanka is currently achieving mangrove restoration. So we do have a prominent personality who will be talking all about it, the effects, the benefits that Sri Lanka can gain, and how it impacts the overall economy. We do have with us Dr. Arne Fjørtoft. He is a former Norwegian parliamentarian, and also he do have a media background, which is he used to work for the Norwegian Broadcasting Company, and also an author, an international leader, and a communication specialist, and specifically he's a social business inventor. So he does bring in a lot of value to the table and to the conversation we're having today. Welcome to the interview, Dr. Arne.
Thank you.
Wonderful to have you on board. So here to talk about mangroves and in a larger scale, talking about the coastal communities and how the mangroves impact them in the long run, not only in the short run.
Yeah.
So could you provide me a brief overview as to what your role here in Sri Lanka at the moment, and what Worldview International Foundation's objectives are, and the new projects that you are getting on board?
Thank you. You know, I would like to start a little bit with history. I grew up in the Second World War in a small town with a factory for using for building weapons and so on. So we had a lot of German soldiers there, and Russian soldiers there captured. So it was a very dramatic situation for 5 years, and it was I learned a lot there because we helped the Russian prisoners with help and so on. But it was a very dramatic thing because we had firework and all kind of alarms, and we had a bombing room in the house and so on. So it was a very dramatic thing. When war was over, slowly development took place, but we didn't have enough food, anything in the beginning, so it improves quite a lot. Regarding mangroves and Sri Lanka, that actually started in Stavanger. It's a fairly big town close to our place, and I was introduced to 3 young people from Sri Lanka there. They had come to learn how to build boats and how to do fishing and so on, and wanted to go back. But no one supported them to go back. So I was called by NORAD. I was then working in the Norwegian Broadcasting, so they knew me well. And they asked, can you help these people? So I called them, and they came and met you, and we became very good friends. And I was then a member of a big organization, so I organized collection of funds for them and all kind of things. And they went back. We got money from NORAD, and they started working here. But they fall out with themselves. We had sent lorries down and other things, and all was cut up in the harbor. So we got completely stuck. What to do? And I was about to be elected in the parliament, so I didn't have much time now for that. But I felt that I am responsible. We had collected a lot of money, and we can't just leave it like that.
Right.
So I had no choice that to forget about parliament and to come here.
Right.
And I stayed here 1 year, and it ended up that they left Sri Lanka and left the project to me.
Right.
I had not studied fisheries and so on. My background was completely in communication and so on. So we had to reorganize and start again. Cey-Nor Development Foundation, it still exists.
Right.
And we built up the same thing in every corner of Sri Lanka in 4 different places, with boat yards, with fish net factories, with export of fish and things like that. So So it became a very big operation.
Right.
We had more than 2,000 people employed up in the north, and also then when we grew out in around the country. So we started producing boats, and we fished, and we got quite good business out of the whole thing. This was a non-profit organization, so with the extra money they could also start other places. And Mrs. Bandaranaike, the Prime Minister, she was very keen that we started in other part of Sri Lanka too. So we followed up and did that, and then in the meantime the Tamils started to make trouble, and the war came.
Yes.
And in '85, then we felt that it is too difficult for a Norwegian organization to be in charge here, so we gave it to Sri Lanka. It was very valuable, and we gave it to the Ministry of Finance, because we had seen that the Fisheries Corporation and others had got a lot of help, and it didn't work. So it still exists,
Right.
Cey-Nor Development Foundation. And boats are still coming out. But during my time we had the tsunami in Sri Lanka, and the tsunami changed my whole life in the sense that I understood that if you take care of the tsunami, of the mangrove during tsunami or any other extreme weather, the mangrove will help and restore the situation. But it was very difficult to get land. It was so complicated. The government had 11 different organizations fighting, and all wanted this right. So I gave up. And in 1912, in 2012, I went to Myanmar, met the minister. I had actually been in opposition to them because it was a military government.
Right.
But they had changed, they were able to change into a democratic government, so I didn't have any difficult feeling about it. So they said that, oh yeah, this is a very good project, we want to have it. So with the Minister of Environment and with the manager of Forest Department, they all promised help. That was in January in 2006 and 2002. And I immediately started to work. I found the money, $2 million. And in June we were full swing.
Right.
So the first trees were in the ground in June 2012. We don't need much time because it is a simple thing, but governments and others take year after year and very little is happening.
I think, Dr. Arne, you came into a very interesting point, which was going to be my next question. The challenges that you come across every day when it comes to mangrove restoration or reforestation in Sri Lanka. What are the primary challenges that you come across? So we've established the history, we've come to the current situation, and can you explain on the challenges that you come across when dealing with the government, may be it the communities as well? What are the primary challenges?
Yeah. You know, I came to know all the top politicians here. But they couldn't help me because we have a very strong bureaucracy and they all fight for this, you know. So we had many meetings, but nothing helped. So therefore I gave up Sri Lanka. But I have to tell that it was in Sri Lanka I came to know that mangroves has an enormous amount of facilities to give to people. Because if you have a mangrove trees to protect the shoreline, tsunamis cannot reach. They have very strong
Roots.
position in the root system. So tsunami gave up. So even in East, which lost 36,000 people, in some areas some villages had survived.
Right.
Because they had tsunami, they had mangroves outside the village. So this I learned, but it was impossible to go through the bureaucracy. I had help from many. Dilant and me had meetings with the secretary in the ministry, and he was very keen to help. But everywhere we came, we found out that bureaucracy didn't want any help. They wanted to have all the rights to the mangrove themselves. So that's okay. So that's why I went to Myanmar, and now we have planted 300 and how much is it? We have planted 120 million trees in Myanmar. No one else has planted as much as we have done. And we have now 7 different projects yielding carbon credit,
Right.
which gives very good income for the people. But we don't take the money, we are just there to help. So 50% of the money is used and given to the communities to do livelihood projects.
Right.
And we started with so many different activities, and people had good ideas. So we have more than 100 different communities earning a lot of money from this, and they are very happy. So we still have land in Myanmar, and we are planting. And we are now started the last year in Malaysia, in Sarawak. We are starting this year in Panama. And we are going to Colombia, to Brazil. We are going to Indonesia later this year. And a lot of new people, new areas are coming up. So we are very happy with that. But Sri Lanka has still not given us any land to plant mangroves. And I feel that is very sad, because I would like to put mangroves in the ground here, because that will help all the coastal communities.
Right.
Because most of the canoe fishermen, they have less and less fish to fish.
Yes.
And with mangrove, they will increase the sea for 50% more of fish and crab and another thing. But it is terrible, it is nearly impossible. So we have come now, after many years, doing a lot of things in other countries, offering this to the government. We have 10 million euro on a fund we can spend immediately here. But it takes a long time for them to understand. So even if we came 1 month before, they are still not ready to do it. So I don't know if we can get started this year or not.
I think on this interview itself is not a cry for help, but informing the general public about what needs to be done immediately, because if we wait for too long, the window that we might reap the benefits, reap the highest benefits, might close. So my other question to you would be, now, yes, implementing it in Sri Lanka is a challenge as of this moment, but as an organization, Worldview International, you do have a strong track record, not only in Sri Lanka, like I said, from countries spanning to Myanmar and other countries. So apparently it's your effectiveness, 96% survival rate since 2024. So, and also, I should mention this, it's the first Vera approved project in Asia. So how do you maintain that standard, Arne? Because if I'm not mistaken, you do take a specific approach in planting specific seeds in mangroves. So what is basically unique about your planting methods and dealing with the community?
Yeah, we have learned a lot. We have developed our own technology to plant, because normally you start with a seed with seedlings, and you grow the seedlings for 8 months, maybe the whole year, and then you take the plant out, you put plastic around, and then you start moving it to somewhere else where you plant it. All this is unnecessary. You can just take propagos, that is the seeds, and put them in the ground. And just now there is a lot of propagos all over the coastal belt in Sri Lanka, but it doesn't last long. So in 1 month they will all go, and then you can't plant this year. So I hope to hear from the ministry very quickly, and we have also met the secretary to the president and the other people discussing with them. But if nothing is decided, there will be no mangroves in Sri Lanka to be planted this year.
Right. Dr. Arne, now my other question, now this comes in terms of, now WIF is a foreign organization to Sri Lanka.
It started in Sri Lanka.
It started in Sri Lanka, yes, it spanned to other countries. Yeah. How do you see, is it challenging to get the community involved? I'm talking specifically the community in Batticaloa and Jaffna and whatever places you are interested in going. Yeah. How is the community support like?
No, I have been working here for so many years all over the country. And we have no problem with any communities. They are very keen. They are very poor, and if they can get some chance to improve their lives, they will be happy.
Right.
So it is a pleasure to work with them. And they come very quickly and help and do things. So we have no problem. The problem is with bureaucracy. You have in Sri Lanka enormous bureaucracy, even in planting of mangroves, because there are so many governmental institutions involved. It could be around 12 different, have to come and agree and so on. And they all want this themselves, because with the credit now, you get the credit for what you plant, and you can sell that to others, and you can earn a lot of money. So we have now earned a lot of money for communities, and it will be more. So we will now have all the land as just use of the land. We will not own it, but use the land for more than 40 years. And for 40 years you will get every year money coming into the communities. They don't need to worry about that as long as you produce carbon. And that is there in the ground. So this is something done to help the world to find a way out of that terrible heating problem we have, because it is terrible now. Every year the world will get heater, and hardly anything is done. Now the Paris Climate Agreement, we are supporting that, but it is not working, because they did it to reduce the increase of heat to 1.5 degrees. Now it has up to 2, maybe will be 3 in a few years' time. So it didn't work. So this is the problem all over, that we are very late, we are doing for little, and that is that. But if we have mangroves, they will also help in cyclones, they will help in other things, they will protect the shoreline, they will protect the communities there.
Right.
So I can't understand what is the reason for people in Sri Lanka don't want it to be done.
So Dr. Arne, can you explain to us again, what is a carbon credit, what defines a carbon credit, and how does it benefit certain parties, certain individuals in terms of developing the blue carbon project?
Yeah. Now the problem is that there's much too carbon, much too offset from oil and other industry up in the air, and that will block the leaving of the hot air, so that will go up, not go up to the atmosphere, and it will be stored here. So to more we go use carbon for communities and other things, it's more we will be affected of it. And there are some experts now say that we will be more than three times more than we will have now in the future.
Right.
And we see there's some very serious melting of ice in Greenland and in the South Pole and so on, and that goes up more and more. We have the doomsday sheet in the south, and this is extremely dangerous, because if that melts properly, and it is about to really take off now, then that will be a shock. The sea may go up several meters.
Right.
So it is a shocking thing, and we do nothing about it. We just leave like before, and that is wrong. So we need to do something for that, and carbon credit can help, definitely. It is becoming a more and more bigger helping for the future of the world. Because if you have more carbon now, even nature will stop working. If it's more than 38 degrees for a long time, then nothing can grow. It is so serious, but people take it day to day, and until this comes, they don't do much. But when it comes, we are totally helpless. We can't do more. So it's still time to go do action. And you see carbon for mangrove, they store it. 80% of the carbon picked up with mangrove from the air into the seed that is really permanently grown and stored. So there is so many things we have forgotten, and we must learn how to nature function, and we must take action. There are several carbon credit organizations. You have Verra, you have many others. We have registered with Verra, and that's the biggest one. And what means with that is that they will only accept our report if it is properly done, and if they're sure that the trees have taken carbon out of the air and stored it in their soil. So it is a very, very secure system, and this 1 ton carbon is very important. And then it is the carbon we sell, you know. This will also give money to people to improve their lives in rural areas, in coastal belt. So I am very happy that we have been able to come into this and can do it, and we have plenty of work. We have plenty of new countries coming up. But it is sad that Sri Lanka is so behind here, that no one seems to be very interested in getting more done. I know that this government is a good government, and they have so many important things, but this is one of the most important things they can think of for the future for the country. And then the communities will have huge amount of money for themselves to build up economy for themselves there in these areas, which has been neglected for years after years. Now it's a time to think differently and time to really get it done.
Dr. Arne, so I think we touched on a lot of points, including how mangroves helps communities, not only the nature but the communities, and how governments in general should work towards making it a possibility. My next question to you is, Dr. Arne, because you have worked with several governments all across the world, and also you have met the communities, you have worked with them, you have gone to the locations, you have worked with them. So my question to you is, what are some of the key lessons that you learned from visiting those countries, different regions, and how do you adapt your strategies, say in Sri Lanka, according to the experience that you've had?
Yeah. Well, the strategy is the same for Sri Lanka as other countries. But if Sri Lanka is so busy, they don't have time to look at it, and have more important things to do, we can't help. So it is also but we have had the chance to explain to people now, and I hope that will help to get it done. So I don't know if we can wait till next year, because we have so many other countries coming. There is a competition also for getting projects. So, but I would be very happy if I could get it done in Sri Lanka.
Right.
And we have good people here. They can run it, they can make it, and they know what to do. They're well trained. So this is something we hope can be done, but the time is running out and we cannot help.
Dr. Arne, one final question to you. Do you have a final message who is viewing today's audience? It can be administrators, it can be communities. One final message that you would like to give out, since you have associated Sri Lanka for so long. One final message, one brief message.
Yeah, okay. If we want to really measure how much carbon, we can take 1 ton CO2 stored in the ground by the tree. That is 1 ton carbon, and that is one way forward. We can do this. Carbon credit is 1 ton carbon, and we can sell this as a kind of Vera background guarantee for people. So it is no doubt that this is the most important thing we can do. It is 100% scientific correct, and we just need to do it. That's all.
Dr. Arne, if you have one final message to the coastal communities that you want to give out, or to the people who are supporting this, what would that message be?
Yeah, I hope that we can help the coastal communities with carbon. It's now up to the government, to the Ministry of Environment, to make a decision on us, just to give the land, not give, and just lease the land to us for certain 30 years. And we will do it very quickly. We can do it now, we can do it this year, and Sri Lanka will have more carbon to be proud of.
So we were in conversation with Dr. Arne Fjørtoft. He is a very prominent personality in terms of mangrove restoration, not only here in Sri Lanka, even though he has a big history in Sri Lanka, all across the world. And well, we were in conversation with him. We did get some really good insights and some action plans as to how we can step forward in terms of the plans that they have, the WIF has for Sri Lanka. And certainly there are some barriers, some challenges, but well, all in all, let's hope for the best. This interview is brought to you by Lake House Digital. A big shout out goes out to them, and well, this is a platform for you to voice the concerns of the country. And with that, we end today's special interview with Dr. Arne. We'll see you in a new interview. Until then, stay safe. Goodbye.